What's up, what's up? Since girlfriends and dating have somehow turned into the metaphor for loops, I figured it best to talk to you about being controlling. These jokes are getting a little deep. Anyway, control transfer statements. We've talked about them before. Let's talk about them again with loops. We've seen the fall through keyword, we've seen the break keyword. Both of those are used to change the typical order of execution. In the context of loops, we can control whether the execution iterates to the top of the loop, or if we're just like, forget this loop, let's get out of here. Forget this girl, let's break up with her. Let's elaborate on that racing game we were talking about in the previous video. We are going to use the continue control transfer statement to stop the loop where it is and begin again from the top. Gonna need some variables, am I right, sister? Bar amount of cars on road equal 5. Bar cars overheating equal false. Bar car speed equals 0. What you mad about, girl? That's what I thought. While amount of cars on road is greater than 0, we're gonna do some stuff. We're gonna check to see if the car is overheating. It's a priority. If it is, we're gonna, oh no, the car is overheating. Pull over to cool down, because that's what I would do if my car is overheating. And we're gonna sleep for 5. Sleep for a solid 5. Just give me 5 more minutes of sleep. Okay, ready to drive. Bam. And then we'll sleep for 1 second. Overheating equals false, because we're not overheating anymore, because we're ready to drive now. Car speed equals 0. You know why. Then, if the car speed is greater than 100, don't go faster than 100, because your car is gonna start overheating. And it's not safe. You silly ghost. You silly boy. We're gonna continue. Man. Keep on, keep on. Increment that ish, boy. That's nice. That's a nice looking loop you got there. This is a good amount of code. It truly is. Sister. Brother, it's a nice amount of code you got there, brother. The game itself has some flaws, but the code is muy bueno. And that's code for very good. We added some variables to keep track of some ish, and the amount of cars on the road is an int, and it keeps track of, obviously, the amount of cars on the road. We added cars overheating equal to false, and that's going to be a Boolean representation of whether our car is overheating or not. And then we got our car's speed, and it's an int, and it keeps track of how fast the car is going. After the variables, we wrote 2 if statements, boom, boom, both containing a big old while loop with the condition that the amount of cars on the road is greater than 0. The first if statement is going to check whether the car is overheating, and the second is going to check how fast the car is going. If the car is overheating, we're gonna freaking log it to the console, and then we're gonna use the sleep function, which tells the system to wait for 5 seconds. And I know you haven't seen it before. I know you're like, what is he doing? But yeah, that's all it's gonna do. And that is just to simulate that our car is cooling down. Then we're gonna log, hey man, you know, you just cooled down. Now you're good to go. And then we throw in another sleep, and that's just so we can see what logs to the console next. Then we set the car overheating to false because it's good to go now. And then we reset the speed because they had to come to a complete stop in order to cool down. So the car is back in business. It can start driving. So the second if statement checks whether the car's speed is greater than 100. And if this is true, they done messed up, Ron. They gonna overheat that car. It says the car's overheating to be true. And at this point, the car can't drive. So we need a way to jump back on top of the loop so that the car doesn't drive because it's overheated. So we use the continue keyword to do this. Because the car is overheated, the conditional in the first if statement will be evaluated to true, and the car will shut down to cool off. So it's like, boom, psych, let's check it again, boom. Oh man, what a bummer. So if the second if statement is false, we log keep on driving to the console, and then we incremented speed by 1 because obviously they're moving. They're moving, sister. After we increment this variable, the loop will hop on back to the top like a quick little rabbit and evaluate the condition and either iterate again or bounce out of the loop. Note though, I'm sure you can see these numbers, they're piling up. This code is going to execute forever in a single day because the value of the the amount of cars on the road isn't ever going to change. Ever. Do you freaking hear me? It's never going to change. And that's why this is an infinite loop, and that kind of blows, right? So I'm pretty sure I called an infinite loop the devil earlier in the last video. So let's say the game, it's got to end, you know? The game has to end. So let's say the game ends after you completed 10 laps, and we'll use a break control statement to break up with the girl. Let's do var laps equal to 0. And then we got if laps equal to 10, print you've completed the race, sir. Break on out of this baby girl. Laps plus equal 1. So we created a lapse. We created a new variable called laps, and it is incremented as the car continues to drive, which makes for a short race, but it shows what I am trying to show. All right, we added a new if statement that checks whether the laps is equal to 10. If it is, we say good job, and then we bounce out. The break statement right here, it exits the while loop, and execution will pick up immediately after the last little brace guy of the while loop. And that makes sense, right? Complete 10 laps, stop driving, the game is over. Subscribe. Hope it makes sense. Keep up with the tutorials, and everything you have questions on will smooth over. I guarantee it. Keep practicing. I love you.